The Industrial Revolution. The development of steam-powered railways in the 19th century revolutionized transportation in Canada. Railways played an integral role in the process of industrialization, opening up new markets and tying regions together, while at the same time creating a demand for resources and technology. The advent of the railways in Europe drastically changed time and distance during the Industrial Revolution. Less transportation time meant businesses could push for a greater output of goods, which maximized profit. Altogether, the railways brought a whole new perspective to the Industrial Revolution. Eventually, railways lowered the cost of transporting goods across great distances. Busy transport links increased the growth of cities. The transportation system helped to build an industrialized economy on a national scale. The geography of Canada. By studying the CPR from an environmental perspective, it becomes obvious that the relationship between the people and the environment in the mountains was twofold. Workers had an effect on the environment through fires, deforestation, excavation, and blasting, and the environment likewise had an effect on workers. The CPR played a major role in the promotion of tourism and immigration. This led to building the new towns, which affected the geography of British Columbia as well as Canada. Train travel made the breathtaking scenery of the mountains accessible to anyone who could afford a ticket. The great age of passenger train travel ended after WW2, when automobiles took over. Fur trade. The CPR provided transportation of people and goods, such as fur, across the country. The CPR also fostered many economic exchanges with the US, the Orient Eastern land, and Europe. The CPR also profited from trade in Asia of tea and silk, and financial services like hotels and telegraph service. Trade was faster because of the trains and could go farther distances. By 1870, most fur trading activity had ended, and the CPR was finished being built in November 7, 1885. European imperialism. European imperialism was European states establishing vast empires mainly in Africa, but also in Asia and the Middle East, and this was done by using direct military force and what transported all of materials and food.
Trains.
Canadian Confederation. One of Sir John A. Macdonald's campaign promises in the 1870s was that he would have a railway built that would link the country from coast to coast. The construction of transcontinental railways such as the Kropendop settlement in the west and played a role in the expansion of Confederation. Construction of the railway would provide work for hundreds of thousands of people, in addition to establishing Canada's reputation abroad and encouraging colonization. American Revolution. Railroads created a more interconnected society. Counties were able to more easily work together due to the decreased travel time. With the use of steam engine, people were able to travel to distant locations much quicker than if they used only horse transportation. Business boomed due to the railway with the mass increase of people and goods. All in all, the railway was a major success in all aspects of the American Revolution, especially in time and distance. British Columbian history. First Nations lost their traditional territories, being forced onto reserves to make room for newly arriving settlers. The MTIs lost their rights as government troops moved speedily by rail to quash the 1885 uprising. Trains and railways have been a part of Canada for more than 175 years. For others, the railway delivered promise and wealth. Many of us are descendants from immigrants whose first memories of Canada are of crossing the country by rail in no-frills colonist cars. Historical significance. Canadian Pacific Railway. The CPR connected eastern Canada to British Columbia as it played an important role in the development of the nation. It made it easy to cross the country as it was cheap and convenient. British Columbia was difficult to access from other parts of Canada. The Canadian Pacific Railway made it cheaper, faster, and easy. Historical significance. The last spike. The ceremony marked the completion of the transcontinental Canadian Pacific Highway and was a muted affair at which a group of company officials and laborers gathered at Craigellachie near Eagle Pass, in the interior of BC. Donald Smith driving the last spike to complete the Canadian Pacific Railway on the November 7, 1885.